Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Rue Adams. I'm the outbound product manager for customer engagement, employee workflows at ServiceNow. We're happy to have this Employee Center, the what, why, and how of deployment webinar to present to you. I will not be the primary presenter today, but I wanted to welcome you all, and we will now kick off the presentation. Smriti, take it away.
Thank you so much, Ryu, for the awesome for getting us started with the awesome playlist. I'll just take over the screen right now. All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone to our webinar, the Employee Center, the what, the why, and how of deployment. A very warm welcome. I'm logging in from Delhi, India, and it's a bright, sunny morning here. My name is Smriti Gupta, and I'm an outbound product manager with the Unified Employee Experiences team. I'm based out of India, and it is pretty exciting to kick off my Wednesday morning with such a bright, enthusiastic audience. I'm joined by my colleague Pooja, who most of you must be knowing her well already. She's a senior manager, outbound product manager, product management for Unified Employee Experiences team. Pooja, do you want to just say hi here?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Pooja Gupta. Very nice to speak with you all today. Excited for this session.
Thank you so much. Apart from that, we have our very talented folks from development team and from outbound team supporting with this webinar here. Now, before we get started, like in any of these presentations, you can understand that we can bring up some of our roadmap items or forward-looking statements. So just want to call out our safe harbor notice here before we deep dive into any of this content. Please keep in mind as you're reviewing this webinar at a later point also to treat any of these statements as a guideline for our vision or intent only and not as a contract written commitment. So this webinar is covered as part of our Live on ServiceNow series, and we encourage our customers to meet us in our other live events like academy sessions, office hours, meetups, or roadmap webinars. Currently, we have 3 monthly sessions ongoing. First is Employee Center Academy sessions scheduled tentatively for every 3rd Wednesday of the month. The next one will be on June 21st. We'll be skipping the May session due to our Knowledge 2023 sessions. The second series is Office Hours. Deployment Office Hours is scheduled tentatively for last Tuesday of every month. The upcoming session will be on June 27th. And our very recent edition of Content Experiences Office Hours on first Thursday of every month. The next session will be on 4th of May. That's quite recently. I would encourage you all to join that one. Finally, we have our quarterly roadmap webinars. The next one for Q2 is scheduled for June. Links for registration of all these events will be shared with you. And don't worry about the slide deck or the recording, and that will be shared with you as well. So please feel free to explore all these events. And we make it a point to keep our various channels like Employee Center Community, Now Create, and Now Learning brimming with enablement content. These resources are specially designed to help our customers during various phases of their deployment journey. Please feel free to explore these links. Just a few housekeeping things. Please stay on mute. We'll be taking questions, so feel free to use the Q&A panel to post your questions. We have people monitoring the Q&A panel and not really the chat panel. So if you have any questions, please, we would encourage you to use the Q&A panel and not the chat section. However, feel free to use chat to just interact amongst yourself or to provide any of your feedback. While you're asking questions, please do introduce yourself and provide us a little context of who you are, what exactly you're facing, or any other information that's going to help us respond to that query better. And this session is recording, just I am reiterating myself. This session is recording and we share it on the community employee center page for the benefit of others to access later on also. So don't worry about the recording or the slides. Just use this session to absorb the content as much as you can and ask your questions and get your doubts clarified. All right. So before we deep dive into the agenda, I want to start with a poll just to get a sense of how familiar you are with Employee Center and what stage you are in terms of the Employee Center deployment. Amrita, could you please make the first poll question live?
Sure.
Thank you. So the first poll question is how familiar you are with Employee Center. You could choose very familiar, somewhat familiar, not familiar at all. As you're answering these poll questions, I just want to let you know that we won't be deep diving too much into the Employee Center capabilities, but please do feel free to ask your questions. We'll just be covering a little bit of basics of Employee Center, what it is, the various packaging of Employee Center, and what capabilities are covered in Employee Center versus Employee Center Pro. But I do encourage you to deep dive into the resources that I'll be sharing at the end of the session. But yes, do feel free to ask your questions. So I see majority of you are somewhat familiar with Employee Center, and that's interesting. Some of you are not familiar at all, and we'll be covering the basics of all these as well. So let's just make the second poll question live. Now, in terms of deployment, we'll be focusing on deployment steps. Okay, so I see majority of you have not planned to deploy yet. Even in that case, you could use this session, or even if you're planning to deploy or not plan to deploy yet, that's an interesting intersection, and I would encourage you to use this session to just understand the various guidelines that we share that should be followed for a seamless deployment process. And in case you're facing some challenges or you want to understand some nuances before you start your deployment journey, we would encourage you to share your thoughts, feedbacks, or questions in the Q&A panel. All right. Thank you so much for answering these questions. Let me introduce you to the agenda. So, as you can expect, we are going to focus on why you should deploy Employee Center as the first thing. And since majority of you have not planned to deploy it yet, this is going to be a very critical piece for you to understand. And I'll be sharing more context around what is Employee Center, what are the benefits around it. Then we'll deep dive into what you need to exactly deploy Employee Center, what are the considerations you need to make, what are the questions you need to ask, and what are the things that you need to consider before getting into the Employee Center deployment. The last section is going to focus on the process steps required to deploy Employee Center. So I'll introduce you to all these migration steps or new implementation steps and some of the leading practice guidelines that we have for deploying Employee Center. Essentially, these are the things that you should keep in mind if you're just starting your deployment journey or you are in the middle of that deployment phase for Employee Center. So let's deep dive into the first one. Employee Center is ServiceNow's new flagship product for delivering unified and engaging employee experience across departments and service and systems. It's the portal that we have for all employee-facing use cases, with most of its best practice experience delivered out of the box. The best part about it is that it is designed to scale. So it is designed to move from a single department implementation to a multi-department implementation, or to even making it an enterprise portal or an employee destination site. And the move and this evolution from the single department to multi-department and then the employee destination site, this is so seamless that organizations would not have to redesign their portal or reinvent the portal at all. Along with that, it comes shipped pre-configured for ITSM, HRSD, workplace service delivery, legal service delivery, procurement service delivery, and also risk. So if you have any of these products, all of these are actually pre-configured out of the box for Employee Center. So this is actually truly multi-department employee facing portal, or the front end of ServiceNow. Now, the screenshot that you see on the left, that is what it looks like out of the box. So for those of you who are not familiar, this is what we are talking about when we say Employee Center. Another thing to note here about Employee Center is that it comes with the native and consumer grade mobile experience. So we actually, we kind of clubbed the Now Mobile application experience with the Employee Center experience. So the same experience is available, the same experience that you usually have on the portal, that is now available on the mobile view as well. You can see the screenshot of that over here. Another thing to mention about both Employee Center and Now Mobile is that they are both extensible. So you want to add something, you want to do something more or change some of these things, or you want to add more widgets or new use cases. The portal is designed in a way that it is very easy to extend each of these widgets or pages, or even just create something new. Last but not the least thing to know about Employee Center is that it has pre-built integrations. For example, we have one of the deepest integrations with Microsoft Teams, where the entire Employee Center is embedded within Microsoft Teams. So a user who is on Microsoft Teams can actually just stay on Teams and access the entire portal directly from there. This was one of the example of our capability of deep integrations with different places where employees spend most of their time, and we may want to meet employees where they are by embedding Employee Center over there. Now, another thing to keep in mind as you think about Employee Center is that it comes with two packages, Employee Center and Employee Center Pro. The entire portal is just a single portal, and they both have same extensions /ESE if I can be a little technical here, but they come with two different packages. So Employee Center gives you all the capabilities that you would need for a multi-department service delivery, like request and knowledge, and it also comes with curated taxonomy, personalized and connected experiences. Employee Center is available to all our ServiceNow customers. So we basically want all our customers to have a foundation that is consumer grade and set them up for doing more and greater things with ServiceNow. And Employee Center essentially creates that foundation. Employee Center Pro is an extension to Employee Center. So it's basically the same portal that extends with extra capabilities, and it includes a lot of cool functionalities like targeted and actionable communications. You can think of it as running campaigns and targeting different messages based on the audiences that you define. Enterprise search is, again, a term that we use to describe searching for content that may be sitting outside of ServiceNow, for example, SharePoint, and searching for it directly from ServiceNow. Also, we have something called App Launcher, in which you can actually integrate with your single sign-on applications to highlight all the applications that you would need directly on the portal. So a lot of tailored and persona-driven experience are also shipped as part of Employee Center Pro. This is why what you see here, it's much richer than Employee Center, and this is our premium offering. It is available with customers who have HRSD Pro or enterprise license, or it can also be licensed separately as a standalone application. If there are any questions on licensing, please feel free to ask in the Q&A. This is also an important thing to know, because before you start deploying, you would want to know which one you have access to. One more thing I want to call out here is that ServiceNow allows all our customers to try different products in their subprod environment. So if you do want to play around with Employee Center Pro, you can do that in your subprod environment and then make a decision to go ahead with the Employee Center Pro license, or you would better off start with Employee Center. All right. So this slide is important to understand the origin of Employee Center and where it is coming from. Up till Quebec, we had two portals. One was Employee Service Center. It is also called ESC, and the other was Service Portal. So ESC was the portal that was available to HRSD, and Service Portal was actually more like a demo portal that we had with the platform. It was not really a product, but it was just there to indicate what our portal capabilities are. But since it was not tied with any license, a lot of customers ended up implementing Service Portal as a product, and they use that to customize it and create their employee offering. Now, the problem with that was it did not exactly set them up for success, as they were growing into HRSD or other things. It was not designed to scale well. So what we did in Rome, we picked up ESC, that is Employee Service Center. We repackaged it, enhanced it, and rebranded it. So Employee Center Pro or Employee Center is nothing but an enhanced, repackaged, and rebranded version of Employee Service Center. So when you upgrade to Rome or any other release after Rome, Employee Service Center automatically converts into Employee Center Pro. And we'll deep dive into this later on, but just keep in mind that if you have Employee Service Center, you're already licensed for Employee Center Pro. We made it available for all our customers just so they have the right foundation as they grow into HRSD or any other spaces. Our recommendation to all our customers, even those who do not have an Employee Center Pro license, is to always start with Employee Center, because that will essentially set them up for success. Employee Center Pro is a per user license. So you have to see the number of users that you are licensed for. And it is multi-department, so you can use it for IT and HR both. If you have both the licenses, it just depends on the number of users that you can give access to, because it's a per user license. I'll just take a pause here, and Pooja, is there anything you want to add here, probably related to licensing or anything else?
No, I just want to, I'm seeing a question in the Q&A panel around depreciation. You did cover it, but I just want to clarify that when you think about Service Portal, there are two things. One is a Service Portal tech stack, and there is Service Portal, which is the /SP. Now, Employee Center, Employee Service Center, all these names that you're seeing over here, they're all built on the Service Portal tech stack. And the Service Portal tech stack uses AngularJS, which is sometimes deemed as like technology which has been, which is not like the latest. But the Service Portal tech stack is not getting depreciated. We are maintaining our own version of AngularJS, which means we are testing it, we are enhancing it, we are building it to support our Employee Center and other portal use cases. And the guidelines to customers is that the tech stack stays, but you should actively try to move away from the /SP portal And that is not recommended for new implementations for sure. But those who are on/SP, if they move to Employee Center, they can better take advantage of existing capabilities. So it's encouraged, but not mandated, if I can say that.
Awesome. Thanks for clarifying that, Pooja. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people here. Moving on to the benefits of deploying Employee Center, the main benefit is that you set the right foundation for enterprise-wide service delivery, and that is where a lot of organizations that work with us are heading towards, to simplify the employee experience in general. So employees don't have to go to multiple different places or multiple different portals or systems to access the information that they need to do, that they need, or the job that they need to do. So we are connecting all these systems to consolidate access, and we are creating and delivering capabilities to provide intranet like engagement and communication. One question that our customers ask us frequently is, how is Service Portal different from Employee Center? So we have built this extensive slide that you can refer to later on as well. But to briefly put it as a one-liner, Employee Center is a true product that ServiceNow is investing in and has built with a modern look and feel for today's needs that employees and organizations have for employee experience, whereas the Service Portal was something that we had built years ago as a demo of what the portal can achieve, or the portal tech stack can achieve with ServiceNow. So it was never actually meant to be a product. There was never any investment in it to make it prettier or to make it more consumer grade. So what happened, many of our customers would have to customize it as per their needs. Now we have done a big shift in terms of how content discovery works in Service Portal versus Employee Center. The main thing that I'll focus on is what we did in Employee Center in past. Most of the portals would have a separate page for catalog, a separate page for knowledge, and employees had to figure out whether they need to go for catalog or knowledge. In an Employee Center, what we did was to create topic pages, which are dynamically created based on the content that is tagged to them. And these topic pages actually have knowledge articles, catalog items, learning items, communications, applications, anything that an employee would need access to related to that topic. So searching for content and browsing for content is a lot easier in Employee Center. So for example, if I talk about benefits as a topic, the employees might need to access some knowledge article, or they might need to access some catalog item, or they might need to access some learning curve there. And you can actually integrate and put all of these things and collaborate all of these things to a single topic page. So Employee Center is designed to scale, and that was not a factor that we had in mind when we were designing Service Portal. Then there's AI search, there's unified browse with Employee Center. The other thing I want to highlight is Employee Center is delivered by a store. So we have faster innovation, we ship quarterly updates. There are also investments in things like personalization. So we have employee profile, we have favorites, capabilities. So there are a lot more different things that are superior in terms of features and capabilities and are shipped out of the box in Employee Center. So it is definitely a better starting point for you. And last, Employee Center is truly designed to be omni-channel out of the box. And that is something that is never considered in Service Portal. So if you want to have a mobile experience associated with the portal experience, you want to have portal integrated in Microsoft Teams, all of that has been really thought through in Employee Center and pre-built by ServiceNow. Having said that, both Employee Center and Service Portal application is built on Service Portal tech stack. So as Pooja was just briefing us about, the terminology here can be a little confusing. So we have a tech stack called Service Portal, which is built on capability with AngularJS. We have our own copy of AngularJS, so please don't keep any concerns that AngularJS is dying away. We have it, we own it, we update our own copy, and we maintain and bug fix it, and we enhance it to deliver all the different capabilities. Because Employee Center is on the service portal tech stack, you have all the capabilities that were available for service portal for branding and customizing it, including the service portal designer. And then you also have the 200 plus widgets that were available for service portal, also available on the Employee Center. So besides the pre-configured widgets available with Employee Center, you can pick any of these 200 shipped widgets for service portal and put it on Employee Center if that's what you want. So what do you need to deploy Employee Center? On the left-hand side, we have the prerequisites. Of course, you need to be on Rome release or later on, because Employee Center came out in Rome. You need to have access to ServiceNow store, because Employee Center is delivered via the ServiceNow store. So it's important to have access to it to make sure you're getting the latest app version. Even if you do not have access to ServiceNow store for some reasons, Employee Center does true up to the next family release. So if you upgrade to Utah, you would have the November store release that we shipped as part of the Utah family release. So it's not a showstopper if you don't have access to ServiceNow store. We just recommend you to that, because store is always ahead of family releases in terms of capabilities. And then if you're looking at Employee Center Pro, you need to have HRSD Pro or Enterprise license, or you will have to separately license Employee Center Pro. Now that's in terms of prerequisites. One of the main thing when you start thinking about deploying Employee Center is to think about your organization's EX strategy. You have to take a step back, and I recommend it doing not in silos, but at an enterprise level, to think about what are the different access points that an employee would need to access to get help. What are the different portals? Do you want to unify them? Are there things that you may want to migrate into a single experience or something like that? So I would encourage you to think about that on an organization level and not for individually your department. So this is an important thing to think about as you're thinking about deploying Employee Center, because it exactly ties with your employee experience vision. Now, it gets us to the question, who are the stakeholders? I won't be dwelling much into it, since it's more of a business discussion rather than a deployment one. But an important thing to keep in mind here is that you're not making this decision in isolation. And you should always think from an enterprise point of view, how your stakeholders will be affected with your vision and strategy. So the next piece to understand is, what are the different capabilities available to you? What are the different features with Employee Center or Employee Center Pro? So if you want to make any changes for licensing, this is the time before you start your deployment. This slide here is just for your reference, and I encourage you to use our community, Employee Center community, to get additional details on what's available. Employee Center covers themed portal pages, employee profile, unified content taxonomy, dynamic topic pages, AI search, and curated experiences related widgets like recommended for you, popular topics, quick links, and organization chart. In addition to all of these capabilities, Employee Center Pro also covers content experiences, content publishing, app launcher, manager hub, microsites, content experiences banner, that's the actionable carousel that you see on the EC Pro homepage, video, bridge content editor, and much more capabilities. I would just take a pause here. And Pooja, is there anything else you want to add with respect to our capabilities here?
Shruti, did you ask a question to me? Sorry, I missed it.
Is there anything related to capabilities that you would like to add here?
No, you pretty much covered it. In terms of like just overarching Employee Center versus Employee Center Pro, when it comes to integration related capabilities, portal consolidation, employee communication, and thinking of a more of an employee destination site, I would say Employee Center Pro comes over there. And Employee Center is more of a modern service portal experience. A model service delivery portal experience, just to correct myself there.
Awesome. Thanks for highlighting it here, Pooja.
No worries.
Okay, now let's talk about the deployment paths. So if you're using a service portal application deployment right now, let's say you are using ITSM or you're any other customer, any other product basically except HRSD, you're likely using the service portal application or the /SP. So we recommend you to move out of this experience. And typically, we have seen a lot of customers who have the service portal just very out of the box and not too much customized. This migration is fairly easy. But there are also organizations who have heavily customized service portal applications. We'll talk about how you can migrate into Employee Center. And I do want to highlight here that we are not enforcing this migration as Pooja has already told you. We are not decommissioning service portal. So please don't feel any sense of urgency. This is just a recommendation that you can migrate. You can take time as it works for your organization. Now, another migration path that is available into Employee Center is from external sites into Employee Center or Employee Center Pro. When it comes to customers who are already using Employee Service Center, it's an upgrade because remember what I told you about Employee Center is that it's nothing but a repackaged, enhanced, and rebranded version of Employee Service Center itself. So when you upgrade to Rome or later families, you will actually see that rebranding happening automatically. The latest capabilities are in the store. So you are essentially moving to Employee Center Pro and getting those latest capabilities from the store applied to your environment. We'll touch briefly on what this means. But one thing I want to point out here is when you upgrade, we won't like override your current implementation or something like that and move it to entirely a new one. No, nothing of that sort is going to happen. I just want to ease your concerns here if you may have any. We don't do anything like that. And just like any other upgrade, you have an opt-in feature for all the new things and you decide what you want to use as per your organization needs and requirements. So another thing that we highlight to customers pretty often is that there's a lot that you can achieve with Employee Center Pro. We understand that organizations are at different maturity paths and may need different capabilities depending on their requirements. So we actually did an Employee Center Academy session that talked about multi-stage deployment strategies. What you see on the left hand side here, these are the different things that you could potentially choose to have an upstream approach for implementation. So you can start with basic implementation first and then move on to a more mature stage with Employee Center. I am not going to go in depth for that because we've already done an academy session on it. And I highly encourage you to refer to that for guidelines around multi-phased deployment strategies. So let's jump into the migration steps now. These are specifically for a service portal to Employee Center migration steps. Don't be overwhelmed with the number of steps here. It's a fairly sorted out process. So you could think of it, this for someone who's trying to migrate from an external system into Employee Center as well. the way you see the color codes here, the light green ones are the ones which will be requiring for all employee center deployments. So it is not something that you're especially going to do for migration. And just to give you a sense of how different migration is over upgrade or new deployments, we have color coded the red ones at the bottom here. These are the ones which are things that you will have to think about for the migration specifically. So let's start with number one. Of course, you have the upgrade. Of course, you have you have to upgrade to Rome or upward family releases. So we encourage you to take the latest one as much as possible. And then you get the latest Employee Center store app released from the ServiceNow store. Now, I did mention it before, and I am just going to repeat myself. Good thing about ServiceNow store is that most of the features are backward compatible. So even if you're upgrading to Utah, let's say there's an August store release and a lot of capabilities that we ship in the coming month of August essentially will also work with Utah. So that's an added advantage. The second step here is that you have to set up curated experiences. Now, for those of you who are new to the session, curated experiences is the new content discovery paradigm that we have on Employee Center, where you set up a hierarchy of topics. So think of it like IT and hardware and computers, where IT is the root topic, and subsequently hardware and computers are its level 1 and level 2 child topics. And you could set up a 3-tiered topic hierarchy, and you're connecting all your content to these topics. So identifying what these topics will be for you and your organization, and what content will be connected where, and actually connecting that content is the biggest effort that you'll have to put into it. And to ease this process, we recommend over here to clone the out-of-the-box taxonomy that we have actually shipped. So we have created and shipped this widely researched taxonomy that we see working across all industries. So we just encourage you to use that out-of-the-box taxonomy as a starting point and modify it as per topics that you would need and add content to it. You have to associate the new clone taxonomy that you have created to Employee Center. This means you can actually maintain separate taxonomies within the taxonomy module and actually have only one of them tied back to the Employee Center. So you could have one tag, which is your current live taxonomy, and you could have a working taxonomy, which you are iterating for a futuristic taxonomy plan. We did a deep dive on curated experiences, which kind of showcases how to do each of these steps as one of our academy sessions. So I'll give you a link to all these academy sessions at the end of the session, and I highly encourage you to go check that out. Now, once you have that setup, you know what topics you're going to put in your taxonomy structure, and it's important to kind of compare what existing experience you have with your expected experience. So whether it's heavily customized or not customized, whatever it is, compare it with where the Employee Center out of the box experience lies. Why this is important? Because the decision you want to make here is what elements of that old experience you want to pull into the new experience. So just to give you an example here, one of our customers, they went live with pretty much an out-of-the-box look and feel for Employee Center. This was Employee Center Pro for IT only. And what they did was they linked one of their custom-built widgets, that was the My Assets widget, that they had on their service portal. They pulled it out from there and applied it on the Employee Center homepage. So I'm just trying to explain here that you might want to check or you might want to do things like that just to know which pieces you want to bring in. But definitely keep in mind that there's a lot of experiences that are new in Employee Center. So you would not need to bring in everything. So step 4 here is that to set up employee profile. This is not a lot of work. It's just that you have to opt in to the employee profile and create the profile, which is just clicking a few buttons. Once you have created it, then ultimately you are making configurations as an admin in employee profile regarding how you want to brand it to match the experience with what you want to provide. So after you're done with this, you're pretty much done with the definition of employee center or deployment of employee center. You can do other configuration related changes like employee center menu and footer changes and page branding activities, or you can just add any other additional widgets that you may feel like. Now, coming on to the two important things over here highlighted in red. The first thing is you want to think about the URL changes. When you're moving away from whatever the employees are accustomed to, let's say you're going away from SP and now they'll have to go to /ESC. How do you go about that? So how do you do that? So if you're just creating one portal, it's actually pretty easy because you can just rename it in the service portal module. You can rename the old portal from SP to SP legacy. Like I've quoted an example here, and just rename the new portal to from ESC to SP. So I hope you're still there with me. So if you have an existing portal that the employees are used to accessing with the URL /SP, you can rename the old portal to /SP legacy, and the new employee center portal that you're building or you've just built, you can rename that URL from /ESC to /SP. So this is a bit more tricky, and we recommend you to invest a little bit more in the organizational change management strategies about how you can educate employees on the new URL. And you can actually put banners in the old portal that direct employees to the new portal. And you can send out targeted communications. A lot of our customers have actually focused on that. And similar to that is the number 7 point here. You may want to redirect some of the legacy pages which people might have bookmarked, and you've created new space for it in the employee center. So we actually have page route map which you could use to do that. Let me just compare this with the upgrade, and then I can pause for questions. Now, like I said, the green ones are something that would be required for an Employee Center Pro deployment. Now, this is focusing more on Employee Service Center to Employee Center Pro upgrade. So let's start from the beginning step. 1, 2, 3 steps are something that are exactly the same as the migration ones. So you still have to set up the curated experiences. That's one of the main things. If you're using the app launcher feature, then you have to set up to configure the SSO integrations and add any of the non-SSO applications. It's just setting up that configuration to work. Once you have done that, then you can move on to setting up the employee profile. And number 5 over here is that what I want to focus on for this upgrade. So what really happens is when you upgrade to Employee Center Pro, you won't be seeing any changes in your homepage because we are shipping Employee Center Pro with its own homepage, which is not applied to your environment, even though you have all the capabilities that are shipped with Employee Center Pro. So all the new widgets, all the new backend workflows that we have created, all of that will be automatically applied to your portal, but the homepage that the end user sees does not change. So because we already have the new separate homepage, you have two choices. You can choose to retain your homepage. Let's say you wanted, you can manually add all the new widgets and the experiences that have been provided to you into the new homepage. You can then just simply use the service portal designer to accomplish that. The other option is which is available uh, in the point number 5 here, is to actually run these easy install strips. So once you do that, what happens is new Employee Center Pro homepage is applied to the /ESC body now, and whatever changes you're making to it, like you want to use the new homepage, but you have slightly modified it a bit, you can do that before you run these scripts, and then make the changes accordingly. So the main point to remember here is that you still have to do all the configurations and the profile setup process. All of that is exactly the same. And you have to just invest a bit into taxonomy setting up process as well. Now, one place that I hear a lot of questions is AI search, and we don't really recommend that you necessarily have to implement AI search before you move on to Employee Center Pro deployment. You can deploy Employee Center Pro and then later on implement AI search as and when you feel comfortable. So I just I'm going to take a quick pause here, and Pooja, are there any questions that you want to address here?
No, we've been quite grouped today, so we've not been getting that many questions. But all good so far.
All right. So moving on, I just want to quickly touch upon the best practices that you should keep in mind regarding designing your employee center. So I would encourage you to work with your marketing team to ensure that the branding, color palettes, and everything else, and the images that you're using are according to the brand standards. And that is an important tip, because you will see that employee centered is very visual. So you would want to think about that here before you go ahead with the design process, so that you have a consistent experience across employee portal, and all of that converges to what you're aiming to do. We are shipping more capabilities. We are providing you more capabilities and flexibility to design your own experience, but you should also ensure consistency. For example, across taxonomy structure, it's very important. And this is going to make a huge difference in terms of how people are accessing the employee portal, where they are spending most time on. You do not want people to just spend too much time on trying to figure out where to find all of these topics. Now, coming on to widgets, an important thing to note here is while you're considering the library of widgets that's available to you, please don't spend too much time and effort on customizing too much of these, because as we have mentioned previously also, customizations are not really very scalable with respect to our upcoming or existing functionalities as well. For taxonomy design, we'll definitely encourage you to use the out-of-box taxonomy as a starting point. We have worked with so many organizations who are trying to redesign it without actually accessing out-of-the-box taxonomy. And it poses some challenges. So it's best to just use out-of-the-box taxonomy as a starting point, work on it, decide on the structure in probably an Excel sheet. The template has already been made available on our Now Create platform. Once you have decided on a taxonomy structure, you have tagged all the content related to those topics, then you can move on to actually configuring it on the portal itself. And just keep in mind to consider the employee experience, because these are the end customers that would be spending so much time on your employee center portal. And the out-of-the-box taxonomy structure that we have provided, it's well thought through and it's well researched to work across industries. I'm not saying you won't have to make changes to that. Just ensure to use it as a starting point. The second advice that I would focus on is to avoid creating a lot number of topics. Like you may be having a thorough list of topics that works with your organization in existing scenario, but we would encourage you to just reiterate over that list once, and to shorten it down to the taxonomy structure that works well for the employee experience. And to just one guiding principle here is to limit the hierarchy into a 3-tiered taxonomy structure only, because beyond that, it becomes really very difficult for employees to figure out what topic or what content they were trying to figure out. So guidance for modifying pages or widgets. One advice that I would, or one guidance that I would like to highlight here is that you should always review what's available out of the box. We do not want you to spend too much time in redesigning something that's already available out of the box. Review what's available in the widget library, and just think through what you're placing where, and ensure that you're placing it in the right way using the service portal designer. Think about the intent of that widget as you're applying it, and then modify it or customize it in the scoped app. On customization, one thing to remember is that you have to evaluate your customization based on the value and the technical risk associated with it, and make it according to that. You should not customize too much, because that makes it really very hard to scale well in the future as well. We are nearly at the end of our session, and here are the top resources that I would highly recommend you. First is our Employee Center Academy sessions. These are the training sessions with monthly cadence that we do, and we pick up each topic or each capability that we want to train our or guide our customers on. We have covered a pretty long list of interesting topics already, like taxonomy, curated experiences, portal governance, microsites, rich content editor, and so on. I would encourage you to access these this link to just go through or browse through all of these academy sessions. You will get a better idea about what we are talking about in Employee Center here. All these academy sessions are available on our Employee Center community as well. You can use community to actually reach out to the broader partners and customer community that we have. Seek out or reach out to them to get quick help on frequently asked questions or any of the product guidance that you might need during your deployment journey. And finally, we have the link to Now Create platform. It provides you with a unified employee center success pack. It's going to come in really very handy as you go about in your deployment journey. That would be all from my end. Are there any questions unanswered in the chat panel, or otherwise you may have any concerns or feedback or questions? We can just take a couple of minutes to address those.
I think we are good. If there anyone who wants to just go off mute, you can raise your hand and we can unmute you. So that's also an option if you're looking to ask a question.
While we are waiting on to the questions, I just want to highlight that this is not exactly a conclusion of what we intend to share with you. We have a lot more events, and we talk about a lot of our employee center capabilities and functionalities in those events. These are the deployment office hours, content experiences office hours, academy sessions. These are really very interesting to attend live. You can get all of your deployment related queries resolved in one of those sessions. If you want to plan ahead of time and you just want to understand what are the existing capabilities that are available with us, or what our upcoming plan is for the next quarters or for the current year, I would encourage you to attend our roadmap webinar. The next set of roadmap webinars for Q2, we are scheduling in June 7th. And if any of you are going to be there at Knowledge, we encourage you to reach out to us with any of your thoughts, comments, and just to say hi.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Smriti, for the nice presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.